at the top of the standings, I'm going to say. Martirosyan, Magnus, move ahead, Mertzin. And here we go. It's the Armenian Grandmaster who gets a shot at Magnus this time.
It's an Eminem matchup.
It is. And it's back to the Queen's Gambit declined. Will Magnus play this A6 move? There we go. It's his own pet line, his own little favorite there.
Goes for his beloved system. And yeah, this is actually named after him at this point. It's called the Magnus Opening.
Oh, that's so unfair. These days, like, every opening's been taken, but Magnus still finds moves that are named after him. That's my dream. One day there will be a Howl Gambit. In the meantime, bishops traded off the board. Those dart squared bishops. And this last move is designed to keep black's remaining bishop pinned down to this B pawn to defend. We've seen Magnus do magical things, though, in these types of pawn structures. We saw him win as early as, what was it, round 1, round 2 in this opening. Can he do the same again as we see Martirosyan appear on the camera?
Martirosyan is a very positional player, so he's definitely not going to be easy to break down in these kinds of positions. He's very good at maneuvering and has a very high chess understanding. I'm very curious to see how Magnus is going to break him down here.
He's going to start by singing or dancing or reacting to something, Magnus, on the camera.
I actually turned up his sound in case he was singing, but there was no sound right now.
Ooh, this is a trap.
I'm not sure if I liked Rook to E1 because allowing bishop F5 is in general something black wants to achieve. So maybe Queen C2 instead would make more sense. Interesting approach by Martirosyan. He just tries to simplify the game. Maybe with the tournament situation, he's probably very happy with the draw.
Yeah, it does feel like this is safety first from Martirosyan. Slightly frustrating for Magnus. White does have an isolated pawn, so potential for black long term. Just worth noting that queen takes pawn was a trap earlier, still a trap. The queen would get herself caught without any escape squares if she grabs too early. So can Magnus somehow, for example, get his knight back into the center? Can he defend his pawn? Does he have time for that? Feels like it should be balanced. White is so active, but I think I would take black. Feels risk-free here for Magnus Carlsen.
But he is using a lot of time now, Magnus. He is 20 seconds behind Martirosyan.
It's not an easy decision how you're going to defend the b7 pawn here. Although currently white is not really threatening to take it because the queen gets trapped. But I quite understand Magnus taking a bit of a think here because it's not easy like how you're going to put up your pieces. Like if you play like rook e8 and suddenly white can trade and take the b7 pawn. So he has to find a good square for his queen, Magnus, and he wants to put the knight on d6.
Yeah, feels like a critical moment. Either Magnus finds something and the game goes on, maybe he has chances of a small advantage later, or it could just fizzle out to a draw within the next 5-6 moves. That's why he's been in the tank, pausing frozen for over a minute now.
And it's more than a minute behind on the clock.
Quite a practical approach by Martirosyan. I think it makes sense what he's done.
Yeah, I always tell people if they're lower rated than their opponent, use it as a superpower. You can bully them. You can say, okay, I'm going to play an equal position. And at some point, you provoke them to do something a bit crazy if they want to win.
But now we're talking 1.5 minutes. How easy is this to just settle to draw if he decides to take that route?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to draw, maybe not now, but at some point in the future, he might just offer a trade of queens, or he might just move his queen back, allow white to push forward in the center and trade off all of the pawns. But this is reckless from Magnus.
Yeah.
2 minutes now.
We even saw him taking the time to switch the song there. So he's surprisingly not worried about the clock.
Need some more energetic songs, it seems. It may be that we are having a bit of a transmission error here now, guys. It does seem like we have had moves that have not been conveyed on the board. And that the clock is actually completely different than what we see at the moment, and that they are 2:45 for Magnus against 3 minutes for Martirosyan. So some transmission errors are going on here, just so you guys know. And the position is also different. So perhaps you want to give a bit of an update on how it's looking now, David?
Ooh, it does look similar, although the white rooks have got very active. They've doubled up on the e-file. One white rook has come across, and another one has landed on the 7th rank. It looks like Magnus is probably on the back foot there, trying to He's the one trying to force the draw. And, okay, we catch up with the live position, and here we go. The white rook, the white queen, they're eyeing up a pawn. And yeah, this is the moment we could see everything come off the board. If Magnus wants, knight takes pawn, and probably everything fizzles out. This pawn will drop, and we'd head towards an equal endgame.
But at least we're not seeing gross negligence from Magnus in the time department here. Just negligence.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does go for that decision, and the game fizzles out. We have a very drawish rook endgame here, so yeah, I'd be very surprised if this game doesn't end up in a draw in a few moves. Everything is getting traded off.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting. It's going to open up the whole standings for the pack just half a point below. It could come down to tie breaks to decide this. I can't believe this is the penultimate round, and it feels like the winter split, everyone's just come really well armed. Like, there's hardly anything to separate them. Lots and lots of draws this week compared to previous weeks. And okay, Magnus doesn't even take that pawn available on b2. He wants to get both of the rooks down. This is slightly more ambitious.
Got a bit of a smile there from Magnus. And I don't know if he thought about something funny or what it was.
It's the fishing song again.
It may have been, but do you guys think there is another likely result in a draw with both having 2 minutes on the clock here?
I think it's enough time. If this was 56 seconds against 50 seconds, maybe. But Magnus is playing down a pawn. Yeah, I mean, what likely will happen in the rest of this game is that black's rooks will get active enough to win the 2 white pawns. In the meantime, the black pawn will drop, and the whole of that left side of the board just will totally evaporate. And we'll see the players repeat the position. I don't think a dirty flag is realistic with the opponent having a minute and a half. And here we go. Martirosyan starts that procedure. The black rook is going to go behind now. Magnus needs to call it a day before it's too late. And there we go. Pawns disappear, rooks disappear. And this is a well-known draw now. There we go. Confirmed. Very stable game from both players.
We have a very interesting game between the young kid, Movahed, and Murh